When I was diagnosed, I was very near death.
I had a really bad attack where I ended up having a seizure.
That constant feeling of something is wrong with you.
I'm Lois Aiken.
My name's Aleta Longary.
My name is Kala Alicia.
I'm Luca.
I'm Tasha Alicia. I started having symptoms when I was 29.
My first symptoms came up when I was about 13 years old.
I was a child who family felt that I was a sickly person.
10, 11, I started feeling symptoms here and there. Abdominal pain, headaches, nausea.
I couldn't move. I had this extreme pain in my abdomen. My arms and my legs hurt so bad. It was like this burning kind of smoldering pain.
Side aches, as if you have a stitch after running for too long.
I had the pain, sometimes itching, but mostly pain, just everywhere.
Sometimes it does just go all the way through, kind of like feel like you're being impaled, or that's what I imagine.
I would say anxiety, even at that age, was already very prominent for me.
They ended up removing my gallbladder. They thought, okay, that would be the fix, that I was having gallbladder attacks. After it was removed, everything still continued.
Didn't really know what was going on. It was just kind of sick all the time without realizing.
My brain was affected and I was hallucinating, seeing things that weren't really there.
My husband had said, this is not normal. You need to go to your doctor. She had me take a test, and it was a urine test. She had told me that I had porphyria.
The porphyrias really are a group of conditions that they're quite varied in the problems they cause, and all of them relate to the accumulation of chemicals called porphyrins in their body.
I hate to say it, but to me at that time, it felt like a death sentence.
I was the third person in the world to be diagnosed with hereditary coproporphyria.
My dad was diagnosed way back in the 80s.
The diagnosing doctor also did research on my family. Mom and dad and 4 of my siblings tested positive for hereditary coproporphyria.
My daughter actually is a carrier, so she did the genetic test too. I constantly am hovering and watching her like a hawk.
It got a lot to do with the chronic pain and discomfort, but it's also got to do with the confusion. You don't quite understand why you are different from everybody else.
In the moment, I was like, I really don't care what I have. I'm just glad that you guys know now.
The rarity causes the diagnostic issues, and I think this is a big problem for people with rare diseases, and the problems that people with the porphyrias see are a variety of problems depending upon which porphyrins are accumulating in which parts of their body.
Not being able to do all of the things that I used to do was hard.
I think what the hardest was for Luca was he was very much a sportsman in soccer, especially rugby. When he had his first acute attack, we had to drop all of that.
Tried once with me to play a baseball game. A third of the way through, I would become very sick. And if somebody didn't help me off the field, then I would pass out.
They're a very varied group of diseases, but what they have in common is the underlying genetic defects are similar. Most of them involve the skin, and they often involve some form of photosensitivity, some sort of reaction, unpleasant or severe reaction to sunshine.
I had no choice. I had no choice. I could not be in the sun.
And heat is also a trigger as well.
Any chemical that killed plants or animals.
We will literally lock ourselves into our house and we won't leave until sun
Cool enough, I
much
guess.
cooler, or when the sun goes down.
You should start wearing long sleeve shirts, or even wearing UV sleeves on your arms and such.
A lot of those medications that they had me on were triggering.
Couldn't take the birth control pill, and that there were other medications I had been given at times, and I always got very sick.
In an ideal world, I would like to be able to have some kind of decent funding.
Well, everybody knows Alzheimer's, but not so on porphyria. It's pretty important that you take the drugs and medication that are on the safe drug list.
We need to change that desperately. That doctors need to understand that this is not just a we'll await and see situation, and that it actually impairs our lives daily.
Definitely give yourself grace. I've had to learn how to ask for help. That was very hard for me.
Every person has to deal with it in their way because each individual is slightly different.
It's hard to be positive and it's hard to keep stress levels down, but those are important things to do.
Biggest thing is just awareness and knowledge. Is to get not necessarily just doctors, but patients and just in general people. The more people that know about it and understand it, the better.